points. Arbolino, he's automatically through to qualifying 2, entering territory that we never saw him in Buriram. Certainly appears if Arbolino is much more like his old self, coming to a circuit that he's enjoyed success at in the past. Winner on our last visit here in 2023. From a Pramac Yamaha point of view, in this Moto2 class, Arbolino, who's now regaining the edge over Ethan Guevara, who will have to try his luck in the qualifying one later. So checker flag is out. Jake Dixon really did enjoy a supreme session on the number 96 Bosca scorer, 141.486 for him. But he felt exclusively the 141s throughout that session. Dixon really laying a marker down on this Saturday morning in Argentina. It's all going to come down, you feel, Elliot, isn't it, to qualifying this afternoon. As we have seen, obviously, qualifying in Buriram, Jake Dixon starting outside that top 10, was able to get himself very quickly into that battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. But to come from that third row of the grid, feel front row is the big of for Jake Dixon, given the pace he's shown this weekend. The pole position challenge is something out of the question. If he's on the front row, he's tomorrow's Grand Prix. He'll certainly start the Argentinian Grand Prix over 21 laps tomorrow among the favourites.
Absolutely, yeah. Front row has to be the goal for Jake Dixon. Of course, he's going to want to so watch it pole position for Sunday's race, but anywhere on the front row, you're giving yourself a very, very good chance of getting yourself a good start and into a good position and making your life a little bit easier in the opening exchanges of the race. So fantastic stuff from Dixon, good stuff from Bowser as well inside the top 3. Connect also have just jumped on board with good session for Connect. We were wondering, of course, how he was going to feel this morning. Clearly, on lap 12 of 12 at the end of the session, second and personal best lap time, only 2 tenths away from the top rider in the session. Dixon, a job well done from Connect. He doesn't look in too much of trouble, so that's good to see for the Spaniard. Sorry, he's not found himself outside the top 3 on many occasions this year. If they're tall, so Gonzalez has a little bit of work to do, but he's still looking strong.
Yeah, here he is, the World Championship leader, just behind the Fantic duo, 2 and 3 for the Fantic team. Shoulder and all, so nobody's showing it. 41.7 for him, but it's Jake Dixon who will feel highly confident heading into qualifying this afternoon. A 141.4 for him, a 10th player of the first of the Fantics, Barry Baltus, the second of the third in Aaron Connect. Manu Gonzalez fourth with Denison Chu, who's got to go through Q1 later on. Darren being the sixth from Justin Getty, another rider going through Q1 later on. Lopez Sargent Aegis top 10, Van Gorbo Ramirez, Screech and Arbolino. Next up, Alberto Reyes 15th ahead of the Moto3 champion David Alonso. Joe Roberts, Diogo Moreira and Daniel Holgado take us down to 19th place. Yumi Sasaki, who certainly didn't appear to please Tony Arbolino late in that session, 20th ahead of Huertas, Fire, Achi and Ethan Guevara. Jorge Navarro 25th and 4th ahead of Ethan Artola, Yuki Kuni and what suspects is very heavily jet lagged Oscar Gutierrez. He managed to get 14 laps under his belt this morning. He was 28th.
Front row start, we shall see. We begin the countdown to qualifying in MotoGP next though. Three practice 2 in the Premier Class comes next.
Argentina for the second chapter of MotoGP's longest season history. Just over 1,000 kilometers north of the capital Buenos Aires, downtown Termas is playing host to one of the biggest and noisiest parties in South America this weekend. Qualifying is coming up shortly live with sprint action this afternoon. It's time for MotoGP. So the the Termas de Río Hondo circuit, as we just mentioned, 1,000 kilometres north of Buenos Aires, 6 kilometres from downtown Termas, where it's fair to say it has been a raucous carnival atmosphere, and we've still got Grand Prix day to come here tomorrow. 4.81 kilometres, this Termas de Río Hondo circuit, 14 corners, 5 left, 9 right, demanding for the tyres. That includes running the full 25 lap race distance here tomorrow. Through turns 9 and 10. Good drive out there to slingshot through turn 11 and set yourself up for a strong final sector. The most demanding braking points, 1, 5 and 7, which do offer good overtaking hotspots. So, good morning and welcome to Sprint Saturday here in the second chapter of 22 Grand Prix in 2025. We are at the YPF Energia Grand Prix of Argentina, back in South America for the first time since 2023. Back in South America for the first time since 2019. Yesterday was World Championship leader Marc Marquez, and straight away at a circuit where he's already won 3 MotoGP races here in Argentina back in 2014, 2016 and on his last visit in 2019. Well, he slipped seamlessly straight back into the groove here in Termas. FP1 was led by Marquez. Practice yesterday afternoon, once again led by the Ducati Lenovo team rider with a new all-time lap record of 137.295. Looking in fantastic form. Can he make it back-to-back poles? Qualifying, of course, coming up later on this afternoon ahead of our 12-lap sprint, which will be lights out at 3 p.m. local time later on this afternoon. First up next though for us is the 30-minute FP2 session, followed by the 2 15-minute qualifying session to decide our second pole sitter of 2025. Matt Burton, Lewis Suddenly in the commentary box, and Jack Appleyard down in pit lane. Once again, it's a rather grey and gloomy start to proceedings, but the sun shining well and truly on Marc Marquez.
2 out of 2 for him yesterday, although he didn't enjoy a large margin at the front, just a tenth and a half over Fabio Di Giannantonio, Ducati GP 25s 1 and 2. Alex Marquez third from Marco Bezzecchi, first of the Aprilias. Brett Binder ensuring that he has no repeat of Buriram and a Q1 visit for him. He was fifth from Alex Rins, John Zarco and Fabio Quartararo. Pedro Costa through in 9th and Pecco Bagnaia, relieved at the end of practice yesterday after that late crash, did not cost him a place in Q2. He was through in 10th. Vigora was next up from Morbidelli, Mir and Miller. Marini 15th from Maverick Viñales and Ferdinand again. Oliveira, Chetzer and Ralph Fernandez between the top 20 for Bastianini and Savadori. Iagura backwards. Those riders will face a trip through Q1 in around about 45 minutes time.
So Marquez setting his stall out early with a 137.295. He said yesterday he thought that there's a first ever 136 lap around this 4.81 kilometre Termas de Río Hondo circuit. Will it be he that delivers it? Fabio Di Giannantonio was excellent on Friday on the 30-metre Enduro VR46 Racing Team Ducati. Once again, Ducati looking at the top 3 places. Alex Marquez looking in great trim once again for Ducati Racing. Marco Bezzecchi, a former, our previous and most recent Termas Grand Prix winner here 2 years ago, when he was on the Ducati, of course, led the Aprilia charge. And Brad Binder and both Pedro Acosta, as Lewis just mentioned, found themselves inside the top 10, cruising directly through to Q2. Those two were lost, completely lost, weren't they, in our opening Grand Prix in Buriram a couple of weeks ago. There's been a few geometry changes, some balance changes, which both Binder and Acosta reported gave them a lot more confidence, a lot more feeling in the front end of the last C16. So what can they do? Of course, it was on Sprint Saturday 2 years ago in 2023, where Brad Binder produced heroic, starting 15th and coming through to take a victory in stunning fashion. Jack Miller in the jungle, unfortunately. It will be a jungle, Lewis, as always nowadays in MotoGP. A very competitive Q1 session coming up a little bit later on. Some fans going to finish on the Argentina football shirts. The Lions are here. The South American fans trust us. Do create something that can be a unique atmosphere.
Oh, yes.
Downtown Termas last night, well, pretty much since we arrived here on Wednesday, has been raucous to say the least. I think we've all just about got a little bit of respite. I mean, bleeding eardrums last night was the order of the day in downtown Termas. But yeah, Q1, Jack Miller finds himself in that a little bit later on, but it is always going to be tough to get out there. Frankie Miller looking strong, Igo looking strong, but who can stop Marc Marquez, Lewis?
So far, the answer to that has been nobody. Marc Marquez on pole and winner of both the sprint and the Grand Prix in Buriram, even though he spent a lot of the race itself on Sunday following his younger brother, Alex Marquez. Looking at the competition to Marc this weekend, spoke to his young brother Alex yesterday. He asked him on Friday in Buriram, he said, "You're in another world to Marc. What about this time?" He said, "I'm half a step closer than I was a fortnight ago."
Fair to say that he is enjoying life very much so in red at the Ducati team. This was post-practice yesterday, just loving life. He came to speak to media in the press review last night, and you just have to say he just looks so cool, such in a good place is Marc Marquez. He's gelled immediately with the factory Ducati team, and I think yesterday once again we were joined, of course, we'll be by former 125cc world champion Tom Luton. It was the point we made in Buriram as well as it was scary yesterday just how comfortable Marc looked. Bearing in mind he's not ridden here as well since 2019. Scary as well when you hear him talk to media. We barely touched the bike, we barely touched the settings from Buriram. We pretty much rolled it out of the crate and just put it out on circuit. We're fast, we're strong. They're only really playing with electronics, trying to give Marc an engine braking setup which he was comfortable with. But clearly, Lewis, they found a base setting which already suits Marc's riding style, and that can only spell trouble for the rest.
As Marc pointed out yesterday, he hadn't been here for 6 years. His last visit here was a very successful one back in 2019 when he won by a mile, but hadn't ridden here since then, and of course hadn't ridden a Ducati here before, having of course MotoGP not visited this part of the world last season. So Marc Marquez spent that morning session leaving bike alone and just adapting once again to this Termas de Río Hondo circuit, and with some fine-tuning in the afternoon he's able to get down to that record-breaking lap, finally breaking his own lap record from 2014.
There were some great performances yesterday, in particular from this young man, Alex Rins, who is paying his own personal tribute, of course, to Argentine sporting legend, Argentine football legend, Diego Maradona. That is basically a tribute. That's the team shirt, the red and black colours of Newell's Old Boys, which was one of Diego Maradona's former clubs. Also the club, I think, which set Leo Messi on his path to greatness in football. Of course, back in the day, they had the classic iconic shirt, had a Yamaha sponsorship. So that's a lovely little touch by Alex Rins, and I have to say, he really did start this weekend strong. 6th place yesterday, albeit with a bit of a reference behind Marc Marquez. He's still going to go out there and do the lap time, and he led the Yamaha charge 147.591. It was a great lap this, wasn't it?
Really good lap, really good day for the factory Yamaha team, because that tactic that Alex Rins put into use, Fabio Quartararo tried to do the same here, up behind Pecco Bagnaia until turn number 2. When that reference disappeared stage right, Bagnaia crashing. That was with around about 4 or 5 minutes to go of the session, and Bagnaia had to sit and watch with the rest of us and hope that his lap time of a 1:37.834 was enough for Q2. It was, and he will join those two factory Yamahas in the pole position shootout later on. And as you say, so good to see Alex Rins back in the top 10 after a first Grand Prix weekend, which was tricky to see.
Well, last time we were here a couple of years ago, Marco Bezzecchi had the honour of getting us signed a Leo Messi shirt after he was at 2023 Grand Prix winner here. We know how good Bez is here, we know how good Aprilia is here. Catch your minds back 2-3 years ago, 2022, when they won their first MotoGP race in the hands of Alex Espargaro. 4th place yesterday for Bez. He said great confidence, great feedback through the front end of that Aprilia RSGP, lacking a little bit of stability through the fast corners. We saw a few riders yesterday, didn't we? Having sort of bucking and weaving and bouncing on the bumps through some of the faster sections, turn 6 and turn 11 in particular. A few riders actually said that was their sort of big issue to sort out and rectify through this 30-minute practice session. Frankie Morelli was suffering a bit on the GP24.
qualifying crowd, as we like to call it, just hanging out the sun, just gives you a little bit of extra grip. Ted, what can you tell us?
I can tell you, the drivers are as keen across the line. They want to find it great last season on the grid race. With that race, they are 6 last year.
see if we can repeat this in Q3.
What are the drivers feeding back to you about the handling of the car and the track and conditions?
Yeah, they're happy. So I think they're just refining their laps here a little bit. Those are two really good laps. Austria was fantastic. So yeah, I think everything's going so far. Championship opportunity this year. They're being desperate. Yeah, they're not saying as such, but I have a sneaky suspicion when they look at the timing screen, they look to see where their teammate is, that's for sure.
Track, and they're all steadily making their way out. Lewis Hamilton already at the circuit doing a warm-up lap, assuming that he came into the pits and changed tyres.
already got the chronology.
Better times on their second run, flying run on a set of the soft compound tyres. But to do that in qualifying, it was asking quite a lot of both drivers. The reason Hamilton stayed out was because he didn't want to get stuck in the back of the queue like his teammate did. And let's focus on Gabriel Walter. That could have been nasty. Absolutely. He's going to save like that and pull back to the World Cup. That was phenomenal from Gabriel Walter.
Becoming a spectator now, isn't he, for the second final part of qualifying, I should say. At least he's not in the wall.
Yeah, that's the relief on the faces of those down the south. Stroll trying to get himself out of a sticky situation. He's down in 12th place currently. Jack Doohan also on the track. We can follow his progress. And here comes Stroll then towards the end of this latest flying lap. His sector times look like down by 3/10 in the first sector, down by 10 in the second sector, based on who's going the fastest. George Russell is just at the fastest middle sector on his latest flying lap, and DRS has been disabled because someone has gone off on the middle part of the lap. Lewis Hamilton is stuck as well. Stroll doesn't make his way out of the bottom 5. Jack Doohan can carry on, he's past the scene, and that is Lewis Hamilton in the middle of the track. He wants to be 6th fastest, and now into 10th underball.
basically. He pushes on, but then he's got traffic in front, and the whole thing just goes away from Jack in the final half of the lap. So, really unfortunate he's got to so far qualifying to get the tenders to adjustment. So I believe we can hear from Kimi Antonelli a little bit now.
Basically, just get back to start.
progress, no time on the board. Sainz right fastest, Gasly behind Hamilton, behind Tsunoda, behind Albon. And then the top four for Alex Albon is right in contention with Oscar Piastri. Even though Piastri lost a bit of time, but there is so tight. And that's going to take the second. So yes, no, if you're McLaren, if you're Oscar or Lando, make a mistake. He was slower. This is the wide moment. Just on the line. He was a tenth slower for Verstappen in that run. He was at the end of the track temperatures changing all the time. That will have a bearing. Clouds are coming over. Also, Charles Leclerc improving his best time in Q2, as did George Russell.
to the line. What is it going to yield for him? Piastri fastest by a long way.
Half a second for the rest to try and break up. He didn't hear the rules. You didn't see the celebration. But he's like, Norris going to deny it. Norris crosses the line. And he takes pole by less than a tenth of a second. It's McLaren 1 and 2. Don't count out though. Max Verstappen or George Russell, because they're both within touching distance. Russell crosses the line. Third fastest. Pushes Max Verstappen down to fourth. Here comes the man who's been on pole for the last 2 years in Albert Park. Verstappen crosses the line. The pole is due for him. He's on the centre row with a Mercedes of George Russell. It is Lando Norris starting this campaign the way that he finished the last campaign by taking pole position. Unless somebody can do something about it, that somebody could be Lewis Hamilton. He's been on pole in times Charles Leclerc, who pits and from 5th place. Now, here come the Williams. Carlos Sainz, last year's winner. In fastest, really good effort from Williams in this qualifying. But can Albon go around a little bit quicker than his new teammate? Yes, he can. And he goes faster than the two Ferraris of Leclerc and
Tsunoda can finish the lap and goes fifth.
That's sensational from Yuki Tsunoda. I don't know why we weren't watching that, because his time for the first and the second sector put it right on the cusp of that top five. In Albert Park, it's Lando Norris's best ever qualifying. McLaren, the pre-season favourites, the pre-season pace setters, have gone back the first season pole.
Okay, that is all.
Not a bad way to start the year. Well done, everyone. An unbelievable car.
King that you build onto this 6-gear back straight, just over 1,000 metres in length, winding the whip up to the top gear, and then back down all 5 gears, back to the gearbox of about 345 kilometres to the first gear turns 5. Aldeguer just going a little bit hot there.
He was on the tail of that trio. He's now slotted behind the Patrick KTM to rejoin Pecco Bagnaia in 14th place, up behind his teammate Marc Marquez, just glancing down the order to see what else is going on. Not seen much progress so far this morning from the Tech 3 KTMs. Vinales and 19th and 20th for that particular pair. Vinales speaking to the media yesterday that when he gets into time attack mode and when he tries to push on board this KTM, he just misses the apex. He just goes wide, just can't get the front end in to the corners. Vinales down in 19th place, the moment Bastianini half a second just ahead in 20th. Bastianini continuing to show his strong longevity over a race distance, but qualifying in the tune of that KTM in qualifying trim still a real problem. Bastianini was 21st yesterday, and he was a second and a half off the pace of Marc Marquez.
Looks like then we are heading for another Marquez-dominated session here in MotoGP. Last flying laps incoming for all riders coming out on circuit as we're into the final minute before we head into Q1 here being Termas de Río Hondo. 3 riders then in the 37s. One once again, superb brilliantness by the 34-year-old Frenchman. I forgot as well that he found that 137.685 despite himself crashing at turn 2 in the early part of that 60-minute session yesterday. Second quickest on Friday morning, 7th quickest yesterday. Making some of the top 3 this morning. These are what would be a real big shock, wouldn't it? Battalion for the front row of the podiums in the sprint and the Grand Prix here.
Certainly be less of a shock than it would have been 24 hours ago. It's becoming more and more clear that this is sustainable for John Zarco. This is not some fluke that John Zarco is pulling out to get himself into that top 3. Checkered flag is now out. John Zarco is likely to stay where he is inside that top 3. All right, he's going to threaten that at the stages. Pecco Bagnaia, who is sort of matching Marc Marquez for pace on this little cameo at the end of the session. He each did 38.5 in their previous lap. following, just over that little bump there on the exit of turn 11. Now drop through 12 and 13, which are two separate corners, but they kind of merge into one really. As well as a sort of deceleration zone into the track of 13, 14 for Bagnaia across the line and to do a 1:38.3, which again exactly matches the lap time that his teammate did just up ahead of him. And Bagnaia moves up to 7th as the checker flag comes out.
Next time we see Bagnaia out on circuit, then we'll be in the fight for pole position here at a circuit which has been a bit of a bogey venue for the Italian. 8 previous starts here, never finished on the podium, has been a couple of big point opportunities. One of them on our last visit in 2023 when he was trying to keep tabs with Marc Marquez second. Now to turn 13 in the damp conditions. As we look at the two factory Ducati superstars. Fair to say in Burrow, Ducati's dream team turned into a bit of a nightmare for Pecco Bagnaia. He was a big by his teammate Marc, but he was really suffering trying to go with Alex Marquez. Yesterday there were other GP24s ahead of him. Fabio Di Giannantonio was an excellent second. He's had a good morning as well as Dixon, fourth fastest with a 1:38.017. He said yesterday as well, he just learned how to ride and manage the pain. He was caught cold, wasn't he? By how much discomfort he was in the body to adjust accordingly so that, as we say, we can manage the pain along the roads.
Marquez then, certainly he appeared to have a better practice start than Pecco did just a couple of moments ago. So he kept the front wheel close to the ground. Then his teammate did, Bagnaia there off the practice start yesterday. We're going to have the designated practice start session following pre-practice one. It has been a little bit of a feature of the Ducati through testing, although it went back to the Burrow. Absolutely nothing wrong with the start. Something Bagnaia was able to get himself up into second into turn 1 on both occasions, both in the sprint and in the race itself. Just wasn't able to stay there as Alex Marquez ensured that he would split the two factory Ducati teammates. A slow motion shot here on the way into turn 1. Going into second gear, just over 100 kilometres an hour through there. Just short the bridge down to turn number 1. Before you have the 1 kilometre blast out of turns 3 and 4 down to turn number 5. Just for Alex Marquez in the next 45 minutes or so when he gets to Q2 to ensure he is on that front row further, leading that charge towards turn 1.
Bagnaia then practices a flag-to-flag climb spot. There have been a few murmurs that maybe tomorrow we could see a bit of rain in this part of northern Argentina. That's what we're forecast for predicting some thunderstorms in this part of the north, thankfully, on Monday. So hopefully they do stay away. I think it's fair to say that the style of Friday morning and Saturday morning here in Argentina is right on the screens right now, because Sarko was second quickest yesterday in the opening session. Cooler conditions once again this morning. Third fastest, the only non-Ducati inside that top 4. Marquez, Alex versus Marquez, Marc. That's your top 2. Sarko third. Di Giannantonio looking great again this morning after he was second yesterday. Fourth, Acosta leading the KTM charge. So Navigator, as Lewis mentioned, had a very good morning session. He was 6th fastest, down to a 1:38.372. Which is only a whisker actually outside of his best time yesterday. He was in full time attack mode. Some partnership that's already been formed inside the factory Ducati garage as Marc Marquez starts to begin his debrief with crew chief Marco Rigamonti.
It's Alex Marquez who wins the Battle of the Brothers in pre-practice 2 at least. Can he continue that into qualifying? It was Alex from Marc in this morning's session. Jones after the end of the line in the 37th from Fabio Di Giannantonio, Pecco Acosta, and the aforementioned Fabio Bagnaia in 6th. Bagnaia 7th. He set that lap time late on to edge ahead of Bettecchi, Miller and Quartararo. Tuan near 11th ahead of Frankie Morbidelli. Both will duke it out in Q1 shortly. Alex Rins 13th for Marini, Oliveira and Agora. Brad Binder 17th for KTM, who had a quiet morning session. While Fernandez took weekend continues in 18th. For the others, Sebastian Bettecchi completely top 20. Sonket Chancho, Lorenzo Savadori next up.
So Alex Marquez, pole position in Argentina in 2023, has set himself up for another attack on pole here in 2025. He leads FP2, qualifying on next year in Termas. Termas de Río Hondo. Good morning and welcome back to Argentina. We are set for two MotoGP qualifying sessions here under rather grey and cloudy skies. That's been the picture really since we first touched down in Termas on Wednesday afternoon. Not much breeze around, 19 degrees is the ambient temperature. It's been hotter downtown with all the noise and the smoke coming from motorcycles and barbecues alike. Who's going to set alight though this Termas de Río Hondo circuit in qualifying coming up next. Q1 will kick us off. Agura, the star of Buriram, Frankie Morbidelli, who's taking a tumble this morning at turn 2. Joan Jack Miller, Luca Marini, Maverick Vinales, Ferdinand Aldeguer, Miguel Oliveira, Sonke Chansu, Raul Fernandez, Elena Bastianini and Lorenzo Savadori. Into the injured world champion, Henry Martin. They are coming up next in Q1, which is so hard to call the jungle. Hard to call who's going to make it out of this session. They're all vying for 2 spots, and then they'll be vying for pole position against Marc Marquez, Di Giannantonio, Alex Marquez, who's just led FP2, continuing to start 2025. Marc Marquez second, 2023, Termas winner, Brad Binder, Alex Rins, Joan Zarco, Fabio Quartararo, Pedro Acosta and Pecco Bagnaia. Those 10 already safely through after yesterday afternoon's practice session. So Agura then, he's got it all on if he's to be a pretty as top qualifier, just as he was in Buriram a couple of weeks ago. To be fair to Agura, there was nothing in it yesterday. He was so close to avoiding this tricky 15-minute session, just 2 hundredths behind double MotoGP world champion Pecco Bagnaia. Fine margins though, isn't it? He could be finding himself inside Q2. If it goes wrong in this session, you can find yourself 5th, 6th row, and it really does compromise your entire weekend.
21 thousandths of a second separates Agura from taking Pecco Bagnaia's place in qualifying 2. Spoke to Agura yesterday, and to be fair, he wasn't too bothered about missing out on Q2, but he did accept that when he looked at the big screen and saw how close he was to being in Q2, there was a slight tinge of regret. But Agura admitted coming into this Argentine Grand Prix weekend, this was going to be much more of an authentic rookie experience. He doesn't, of course, have the 2 days of testing behind him. He had pre-Thai Grand Prix in Buriram, so in many respects, it's as impressive that Agura is on the fringe of the top 10 this weekend as he was when he was up on the second row of the grid in Thailand. But Jack Miller there on screen proved that you can get up onto the second row of the grid via qualifying 1, that's exactly what he did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Agura was a pretty top qualifier in Buriram. He's in Q1. Jack Miller was Yamaha's top qualifier in Thailand. He's also got to go through Q1. Joan Mir yesterday, I think he felt like there was a top 10 in the offing for the Honda HRC Castrol rider. Just never really nailed a clean lap, particularly on his second soft tyre. A 37.975 from Mir left him in 13th place. Ferdinand Aldeguer has just had a very strong FP2 session this morning. He took the checkered flag in 6th place. The Argentina fans great to be back, as we mentioned, in this part of South America. That's about as quiet as I've seen in all weekend, to be honest. Certainly they're making a racket in downtown Termas. Trackhouse racing then. Unfortunately for them, and both of their riders represented in this upcoming Q1 session. Likewise, Yamaha, here we go on there on screens. 1:38.649 yesterday from the Portuguese rider. 18th fastest in a big chunk of time. He was 8/10 of a second away from Bagnaia in 10th spot.
He was flirting with a place in Q2 in Buriram, wasn't he? In Q1, when he made a mistake into turn number 4. So Q1 about to get underway. Then 15 minutes of running. 12 riders battling out the 2 places. So in this session, we have 3 Aprilias, F315, Benteke from Aprilia Q2, 3 Hondas, Zarco of course the same Honda through to Q2, 2 Ducatis, Morbidelli and Aldeguer, 2 KTMs, both from Tech 3, and 2 Yamahas, both from Prima Pramac. Only 2 a year or two ago.
First time in 2 years then here in Termas, we are qualifying in MotoGP. Who's going to find themselves in that battle for pole position as they negotiate through turn 3 and 4. Just give you an idea, this helicopter shot, just how long that back straight is. 1,078 metres, to be precise, 3,500 feet. Real slow shots, 350 kilometres an hour before you harden the brakes into turn 5, and then building up speed again through this tyre punishing left-hander. Turn 6, so fourth gear through this part. Turn back to Río Hondo, and you set yourself up. Could only take a hot spot here into 7, the double apex right-hander of 7 and 8, all second gear through here. And a little bit of a rise, not much undulation around Termas de Río Hondo. A small part of it features right here into turn 9, and through the dip of turn 10. And now you really do start to unleash the power of the MotoGP bikes through the fourth gear, turn 11. Pretty bumpy through this section you just saw there. That's Giannantonio on the 10.3 KTM. He's having a bit of a torrid time at the moment. Great recovery ride in Buriram in the Grand Prix, 20th to 9th, showing that he's still the master of time management. But yesterday, Anea's media debrief, he was asked how his day went, and he just said, I'm under a terrible attack actually, the arrangement, a disaster. So,
yeah, there haven't been many positives to reach for Anea Bastianini so far. As you say, the only positive came on Sunday, but you kind of feel the way this weekend is shaping up that he's going to have to pull out something quite similar from deep on the grid. We haven't seen Anea Bastianini anywhere near the 137s this weekend. His best yesterday was a 138.785. He surely feels that for anyone to have a chance of getting out of this Q1 session, they're going to have to be in those 137s.
Yeah, he's really struggling, isn't he, on a soft tyre, time attack mode to get anything, any performance out of that KTM RC16. And once again, there you could just see the rear tyre lifting up in the air. I think that was a problem that all 4 KTMs were experiencing in Buriram, that kind of floating feeling from the rear. While the rear's hopping and skipping in there, overloads the front. We saw Pecco Bagnaia crash out of the Grand Prix in Thailand. It was a punishing Saturday, wasn't it, for the beast in Buriram. 27 seconds slow he was in the sprint compared to his electric performance in the sprint 4 months ago when he won on Ducati. Won it from start to finish. From start to finish victory in the sprint in Thailand to finish within 30 seconds off. An indication of just the struggles that the beast is having right now to get his head around the RC16. Marquez brothers in qualifying 2.
This pair on screen are almost as close as brothers. Ayagura and Somkyan Chantra, teammates so much of their careers through Moto3 and Moto2. Spent a lot of time together in Barcelona. They get on so well. And it's Agura that's leading Chantra around at the moment as the first lap times come in. We're in the low 38s already with Oliveira. Ayagura though straight into the 137s, which is where we expect it to be. And it is at the moment. Agura and Chantra in that top 2.
Morbidelli, who's been on the floor already this morning at turn 2, finds a 137.645. That's almost 3/10 of a second quicker than anything Frankie found yesterday. So he's already found some fat space, quickly pursued by Miller in second. Girl in those 3 in the 37s. Vladimir just made 4 riders now into the 37s. Morbidelli by a whisker, like 400 between himself and Jack Miller. Let's ride on board now with Frankie down the back straight.
Speed then towards turn number 5. Final time as he desperately pleads that Ducati GP24 to stop for turn number 5. Now heading through the left-hander of 6, where you have to create plenty of commitment and you have to be kind to your rear tyre through there. We've seen Jack Miller already smoking that rear tyre as they round 6 immediately onto the left-hand side of the circuit for the right-hander of 7, and Morbidelli and Miller, who are circulating around a second and a half apart. We've just seen Miller just flashing through the foreground there behind the number 21. Both at the moment looking set to improve on their mid-37s.
37.645 yesterday. Would have put Morbidelli at 7th quickest on day 1. Put together another very strong lap here as well, isn't he? This has been a good response from Morbidelli because that was the problem he said yesterday. He was having rear instability issues through the fast corners. Well, that was a clear illustration of just how much he was suffering through there. That showed just how much he's attacking as well here. How much time did that cost the number 21? Out of the final corner he goes, over the line at 137.312. That is not far shy. Well, that's the second best time of the weekend so far. Marc Marquez yesterday led the way to the 1:37.295. Top job, Frankie Morley. That came in a big moment as well, coming through 11.
Certainly didn't back off there, did he? Certainly no lack of commitment from Frankie Morbidelli. A round of applause from Lucio Sidici down at PR 46.2 in response to that. Morbidelli then has the big end of 4/10 of a second over Jack Miller in second place. Agora third on a 1:37.7. Best part of half a second back from Frankie Morbidelli. Don't know whether Frankie Morbidelli's thinking in the same terms as Pecco Bagnaia. I thought might have gone Bora and then decided to park it with that and save the tyre for a qualifying 2, but he might well have given himself that luxury.
Tranmere down to a 1:37.813. More than respectable lap time, that, but at the moment nowhere near good enough for Q2. Just over half a second behind Morbidelli. He's got to find a couple of takes as well to get on par with Jack Miller. Marc Marquez, who was really struggling yesterday, just was lost. So it was a real tough Friday. Could not get the rear tyre hooked up at all. Loads of wheel spins. Struggling, suffering. 20th fastest, outclassed once again and outpaced by his teammate Agura. I'm afraid it's not getting much better either for the Spaniard.
That's not a particularly nice comparison from a Ralph Fernandez point of view. Half a second adrift of this young man. His teammate on the 79, Agura, who's heading up pit lane right now. The pit lane entrance is just on the outside of that penultimate corner, turn 13, and you shortcut your way on the inside of turn 14 and into pit lane. So Agura knows at this stage needs to find just over a 10th of a second to get on terms with Miller. Tranmere and Fermin Aldeguer next up, both on a 1:38.0. Here actually on 37.8. Aldeguer and Marini on 38 flats. They need to improve by the best part of half a second if they're to muscle in on the top 2.
Yeah, that's a big advantage that Morbidelli has at the end of that first stint here in Termas. What a Q1 it's been so far for the Italian. And as we can see inside the box there, he's crashed motorcycle with P2 under the black cover. So this is the only bike he's got at his disposal. So he's having to take the full risk, and he knows the consequences. A crash will really hurt his chances. So good job this by Morbidelli. And on 37.312, when you saw how much he was booking and weaving through the fourth gear, turn 11, more power to him. Did we think they could make a case potentially to knock Frankie off his perch? Well, Miller's looking strong in second. Looks certainly quite back because they've got about a 10 back to the Gura. Fermin Aldeguer, well, discounted out of it. He was 6th this morning, 5th in this session, expecting a 37 himself.
Certainly in terms of machinery, you would say Fermin Aldeguer has a fighting chance aboard the same Ducati GP24 that Frankie Morbidelli is currently leading the session with on that 1:37. There's some big gaps between teammates in this session. Miller to that man, Miguel Oliveira. You're talking half a second between the two of them. Tranmere scored around about a quarter of a second over Luca Marini, they're 4th and 6th, and the big gap is here down at Trackhouse. Agura on a 37.792. Ralph Fernandez only able to do a 38.346 minutes on half a second gap between those pair, and the pressure cranking up on Ralph Fernandez down in 10th place at the moment. He needs to improve by the best part of 7/10 if he's going to find his way to Q2.
The top 2 then to go through here in Termas de Río Hondo. The final throws of Q1 underway here. Morbidelli and Miller in the pound seats. They are the 2 that will be still in the hunt for our second pole position of the season. Ryan is still trying to pick me. Now is Miller at the moment. Relatively safe and secure. 1:37.687. He will feel that he'll need more time than that to secure his place in the second session. 1:38.058 was Miller's best yesterday. So he's found a whole chunk of time, 3 or 4 tenths compared to his benchmark from yesterday. Just in no hurry to get out there. At the moment is Frankie Morbidelli, I suppose, wary of the fact that he does only have that one GP24 at his disposal. I'm sure that is coming through at turn 13. Knee and elbow scraping on the tarmac through the first gear, 65, 70 km/h corner before you flick it right. Already clicked up a couple of gears on the exit and the final corner before you come to the finish line. Pixie looking comeback Yamaha Ostino Borsoi. At the moment we'll be relatively satisfied to see Jack Miller negotiating troubled waters in Q1 as we get a little bit of a traffic jam here in Termas.
Tranmere not particularly keen to tow the Pramac Yamaha riders around. Mir felt that he had Q2 pace on him even yesterday, just didn't extract it on that final run. that 1:37.312 is not a guarantee of a place in Q2.
So 4 riders in the 37s. Oliveira cruising on the outside of 11. So is Mia, so is Marini, so is Chantra. But further back where we saw Jack Miller. So nobody really keen to get on with business here, are they? Aigura certainly is. He's head under the bubble, attacking hard out of the final corner. Aigura at the moment just outside of that top two. This would be a great result, remember. Aigura is so close, 200ths away from already being in Q2 yesterday. A little bit further outside of right now, 10th, but we know he's got the potential, we know he's got the speed around this Termas circuit to threaten Miller's second place, maybe even get close to Morbidelli.
All feels very Aigura, that. Saw a lot of that in his time in cross Moto 2 and Moto 3. He was never one to really get embroiled in those games, but following the riders and trying to pick up his own, he just gets on with his own work. And Aigura so far doing a very good job on his second soft tyre as he gets it out of shape into turn 5. The yellow flags are in sector 1, which is behind Aigura, so someone's clearly gone down in the first sector, and that someone is Somkiat Chantra.
Yeah, you just wonder all this dawdling and cruising, well, that's just a front tyre temperature issue. He's into turn 2 on the left-hand side. You just wonder whether he's just been too slow on the outlaps, and then his too much temper dropped out the front tyre. So the best Chantra could hope for will be 17th on the grid. Have to give an enormous amount of credit to the time rider, because at the moment he's potentially, despite the crash, out-qualifying Oliveira, Vinales, Ralph Fernandez, Bastianini and Salvadorovic is pretty strong achievement. Top job. Aigura and Aldeguer are the two remaining rookies circulating in Termas together into the final sector. Don't think this is going to be anything potentially threatening the top two unless they have brilliant full sectors. Aigura will come to the line first. Third quickest, the Japanese rider. He does find a personal best, a 1:37.746. Oh, close again. 200s out of Q2 yesterday. At the moment, just 500s away from the top two.
Mia and Miller are going head-to-head here for that second place. Mia takes it on a 1:37.526. Miller did improve himself down to 1:37.6, but it wasn't enough. The 2020 World Champion has muscled Miller out of there.
Yeah, and that brilliant lap by Aigura's gone down. That's turn 2 as well.
Corner.
Turn 2 has caught out a couple of rookies here, heading hands for Davide Brevio. So there'll be no Trackhouse racing representation in Q2. Aigura was pushing. He had just done his best lap of the weekend so far. Wow, that went early, didn't it? Big one. That's going to be a very second-hand RSGP. A couple of barrel rolls through the gravel trap and quickly back on his feet for Aigura. But that's his Q2 hopes gone. Morbidelli though, still looking comfortable. That early 1:37.312 has having commanded this Q1 session for much of it.
Yellow flags have always been waving for the crash for Aigura, who was up ahead of a lot of the other riders on circuit. So I dare say quite a lot of the riders currently on laps will see them cancel off. So Morbidelli still with that 2/10 cushion and clearly not able to get near his own 1:37.3. Mia into second. Miller then of course is relegated Aigura down to 4th. From Aldeguer and Marini. Chantra is still holding on to that 7th place. He's still got some very elevated company behind him in the form of Oliveira, Vinales and Bastianini, who did just improve a moment ago, but he still can't even dream of a 1:37. Bastianini's personal best, a 1:38.328. He's a second down on this man and nowhere near the top two.
Yeah, Ralph Fernandez, his weekend just goes from bad to worse. He's really started his Grand Prix and was ranked 21st. He 20th fastest yesterday, all at sea with no rear grid. It doesn't seem like there's been any magic one fix overnight inside the Trackhouse Racing Garage. On board then with Mia, who at the moment looks like he's joining fellow Honda rider Johan Zarco into Q2, just as they both were in Burap a couple of weeks ago. They both went directly into Q2 last time. Coming through this tricky turn 2. Just see there's a few ripples there, aren't there? We just see the ripples on Mia's front tyre as he attacked through turn 2. Get through it safely though now. Then what have we got left? Aldeguer has had a personal best first sector, so was Oliveira, Ralph Fernandez too, but nothing that's going to be giving problems for Morbidelli and Mia.
Well, the rider that Tranmere is defending this Q2 place for is the rider who's towing up the back straight here in the form of Jack Miller. That Honda is the slowest down the back straight, so any kind of slipstream that Mia can get, no matter who's ahead of him, will be useful. Fortunately for him, Jack Miller is in no position at the moment to threaten his Q2 place. The threat's coming from this man.
Yeah, Fermin Aldeguer looking good. He has nailed sectors 1 and 2. What about sector 3? 3 tenths of a second. He's going to have to absolutely pull this forward sector to get into Q2. Just through there. Those instability issues that seem to be affecting every bike and every rider as you get the power down through turn 11. So here is Aldeguer. Excellent fifth. That's not a bad result at all. Of course, he'd like to be in Q2. He comes over the line now, moves up 1 place to 4th. That was a good lap, but it was an excellent lap, 37.717. Alex Marquez inside the BPA Brazilian Racing Garage was cheering his rookie teammate on. But a good fight for it. He was only, about 2 tenths away from being inside that top 2. Joan Mir looks at the big screens, and he will see himself safely through. Can't see anybody on the timing screen who's going to knock him out of the top 2. So it is Morbidelli with a 137.312. Second quickest time of the weekend so far. He's safely through. Good job that by Frankie. After crashing this morning in FP2 at turn 2. And Mir goes through as well. So once again for the second race in a row, 2 Hondas in Q2.
Late improvements from Oliveira and Fernandez, the former teammates. They at least did climb up to 7th and 8th respectively. Relegated Chantra down to 9th. Not a good afternoon at all. Not a good morning so far for the Red Bull KTM Tech 3 squad. Vinales and Bastianini 10th and 11th. They only have Lorenzo Savadori behind them on the grid.
Yeah, it's painful to watch, isn't it? Ex-world champions, multiple MotoGP wins between them. Maverick Vinales, a history maker last year, of course, becoming the first rider in the MotoGP era to win for 3 different manufacturers. You can't really stake much of a claim for making it full wins for 4 different brands, can you, right now? As he will go from 20th on the grid, 1 place ahead of his teammate, Enea Bastianini. Yeah, a nice little tap on the tank and a tap on the screen for Joan Mir. He felt like he really should have been in this Q1 session yesterday. Just never really found a clean run on his second soft tyre yesterday. What a shot that is. That is the world's best, showing just why they are the world's best. Spinning up that Michelin rear tyre through turn 6. Yeah, top job, well done Joan Mir, brilliant. You can see how pumped he is with that. 37.526. About 4 tenths of a second quicker than what he was yesterday.
Well, we've seen Joan Mir in some pretty dark places, haven't we, over the last year and a half or so since he joined the factory Honda team. And we're now starting to see the real Joan Mir return to his name. Joan Mir that won the World Championship in 2020. He just looks as if he's riding with a weight lifted off his shoulders. Frankie Morbidelli though through as the fastest rider in Q1 and the second best lap of the weekend. Morbidelli and Mir, your 2 to move through. Jack Miller 3rd, which will leave him 13th on the grid ahead of a pair of rookies. With Fabio Di Giannantonio climbing ahead of Iron after his late crash. With 6th ahead of Miguel Oliveira and Marc Márquez, who found 38 zeros and 38 ones late on. 2 edge ahead of Sonkat Chancha, who himself also crashed. Top morning for Tech 3, 10th and 11th for Vinales and Bastianini. 12th place for Lorenzo Savadori, which he will start at the back of the grid.
So it has been 5 very long years since Frankie Morbidelli last took a MotoGP pole position, but he's still in the game. He's still in the hunt here in Termas de Río Hondo. Join us next for what promises to be an exhilarating Q2 session here in Termas de Río Hondo. Morbidelli quickest in Q1. Termas de Río Hondo in northern Argentina. You join us live at a somewhat cool and cloudy North Argentina as we get set to go qualifying. 15 minutes of drama coming your way in MotoGP Q2 as Marc Marquez looks to continue his dream start to life in red. The factory Ducati rider on debut in Burra went for clean sweep. Pole position, sprint victory and Grand Prix victory. That treble has never been done 2 successive rounds previously in history. Marc Marquez, the big favourite here, as he tries to complete a 6th pole position in 7 visits to Argentina. Although maybe that would have given, because Alex Marquez has looked exceptionally strong all weekend so far. He was that 2023 pole starter, albeit in a wet Q2 session here 2 years ago. Johann Zarco has been super strong on both Friday morning and Saturday morning. He was 7th quickest yesterday afternoon. He's a bit of a dark horse for at the front row. Marc Marquez, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Alex Marquez, Marco Bezzecchi, Brad Binder, Alex Rins, Johann Zarco, Fabio Di Giannantonio, and Pecco Bagnaia all safely through yesterday to Q2. Joining them from Q1 a few moments ago, Frankie Morbidelli and Joan Mir, as the teams and riders get themselves prepped for one of the most stressful points, one of the most high pressure points of a Grand Prix weekend. It's where you really do have to leave it all on the line. Soft tyre time attacks coming in Q2. As we mentioned, Saturdays previously in Termas have been very, very kind to 32-year-old Spaniard Marc Marquez. 6 previous races here, 5 times he's found himself starting from the front of the grid. 3 times he has been victorious here in front of a very passionate South American crowd. Wins in 2014, 2016 and 2019. Fair to say he is oozing confidence, riding at the top of his game. Fantastic win for him. Looking so strong already here this weekend in Argentina. I think though, Lewis, it's fair to say maybe not as clear favourite for pole here this afternoon in Argentina when he was in Thailand. There are a few other names that come into the equation, in particular from the opposite side of his family.
Yes, Alex Marquez, who was our most recent pole sitter here 2 years ago, searching for back-to-back Termas de Río Hondo pole positions. The Ducati contingent is a strong one. 5 of the 6 are through to Q2, including this young man, Fabio Di Giannantonio, who was second quickest to Marc Marquez yesterday in practice, as he continues to understand and learn. And motorcycle, he didn't ride too much in pre-season testing. He needed that solitary day to plan before he injured his collarbone. Di Giannantonio looks much closer to the pace, but the contenders to the Marquez brothers, there are plenty of them. You'd expect Bezzecchi to have a threat too on the factory Aprilia. You'd also expect Johann Zarco to have a conversation in this as well. He's been quick and challenging that top 3 throughout the weekend. And Pecco Bagnaia, of course, he might not have necessarily looked just from the standings yesterday as if he had a pole position challenging him, but that crash kind of masks the performance that Bagnaia has. He will be confident of taking the fight to the Marquez brothers here.
It's already been a strong Saturday for Alex Marquez. He led the way in this morning's half-hour FP2 session. As always, the Marquez brothers, great support here down in South America. Outside of turn 1, Marc has his own dedicated grandstand. You can almost sort of feel the tension building here down in pit lane. Marco Bezzecchi has been strong previously here in Termas. His first MotoGP victory here came in that wet weather race in 2023. What a day that was, not just for Bez, it was the first time ever as a team owner. Valentino Rossi was victorious in the Premier class. Did it so many times, didn't he himself, the Italian icon, as a rider. But an unforgettable day here in Argentina 2 years ago. And the day that Marco Bezzecchi's prize for winning that day was not just 25 points and the World Championship lead at the time. A very, very nice signed Lionel Messi football shirt as well to boot.
This 15-minute Q2 session, I guess our eyes are going to be on that elusive 1:36. Is this the first time in 11 years of coming to this circuit we're finally going to have that first sub 1:37? Certainly the evidence of qualifying 1 and Frankie Morbidelli was straight down to a 1:37.3 would suggest that the answer to that will be yes. But who will set it? Marc Marquez starts this qualifying session as favourite. 15 minutes of qualifying 2 to come to decide our first pole sitter in Termas for a couple of years.
Yeah, it was Marquez himself yesterday who felt like there was going to be a 1:36 on the table here this morning. Well, thankfully we don't have to wait any longer to find out, because 12 of the fastest riders in the world are now negotiating this 4.81 kilometre Termas de Río Hondo circuit. And he's going to be our second pole sitter of the season. As you mentioned, Marquez is untouchable, wasn't he, in Bull Followed up the points on Q2 with a start to finish victory in the sprint. Certainly had to work hard for the Grand Prix success when he encountered those tyre pressure concerns, but he strategically, superbly managed it, didn't he? And then when he got his head down and final 3 laps, it was game over. To the point where Bagnaia said, well, he was playing with us. It was him toying with us. Can anybody retaliate against Marc Marquez and his beloved Argentina?
Interesting watching the tactics of Fabio Quartararo here. Looks like at the end of practice yesterday, he was very keen to get onto the rear tyre of Pecco Bagnaia at the start of the qualifying session. He followed him yesterday until Bagnaia's crash coming into turn 2, straight on the outlap into turn 2. Quartararo straight through Alex Marquez, and he hasn't left that rear tyre of Pecco Bagnaia. Quartararo's tactics are clear.
Yeah, glued to Marc Marquez's rear tyre. We're on board with him right now is 20-year-old Spaniard Pedro Acosta, who had a pretty tough start to proceedings. His second full season in MotoGP underway in Buran with 4 points collected across the weekend. That was the 6th place in the sprint, where he wasn't really front-running competitive, was he, at any stage, then crashing out of the Grand Prix before he remounted to finish in 19th spot. Here we go then. This is the first time attack in Termas 2025. And it is that leads the field, attacking out towards turn 2. This was right this corner yesterday, the same 2 riders involved. Pecco Bagnaia dumps the Ducati GP 25 directly ahead of Fabio Quartararo. This time around, the Italian safely through.
Bagnaia said yesterday he felt he could have improved by another 3.5 tenths per second had he not had that crash. That would have put him somewhere just inside the top 5. So Bagnaia had more pace than it necessarily looked when he finished yesterday in 10th place. You can have a nice comparison of one on screen as to how the factory Ducati teammates are getting on. Marc Marquez is just up behind his brother Alex, just out of shot. They come through the second sector now as they round turn 6, and Marquez is a tenth of a second off halfway around the lap.
37.3 was more than his best in the earlier Q1 session of 37.295. Marc Marquez's current all-time lap record. How much longer will that stay intact? The Marquez brothers coming through turn 9. Now they'll flick it left through this high-speed turn 11, where you're going to have to really manage the left-hand side of that tyre, particularly over the full feature 25-lap Grand Prix tomorrow. Quartararo right on the rear tyre here then of Bagnaia as they come into turns 13 and 14, this tight complex, right then left to complete the lap. What is going to be the first reference times here in Q2 in Termas de Río Hondo? 37.6, 37.142, immediately found by Marc Marquez. His first flying lap in the session. It only has to be the fastest ever 2-wheel lap around Termas de Río Hondo. And right on his rear tyre, Joan Zarco with a 137.205. That's the fastest a Honda has ever tackled Termas. Zarco second.
I'll tell you what, he needed a good final section there with Marc Marquez, because when they arrived into sector 4, Zarco was actually ahead of him on that lap. He was quicker through the first 3 sectors, but Marc was slightly faster in sector 4, and he pulled out just 63 thousandths of a second. That is the margin we're talking about between Marc Marquez and Joan Zarco. Of course, that lap time will drop yet, but Zarco proving that his pace yesterday was no fluke.
Straight out of the gate, Marquez flying a 37.1, so we are going to surely get a 36 at some point in this session. Could be on this very next lap. Joan Zarco was nowhere near the front row of the grid in his debut season of Honda last year. His last front row was on his Ducati farewell at Valencia in 2023. He's on a pole since the British Grand Prix in 2022. Surely not. Surely not. It would be some performance winning by Zarco, who has been threatening the top 3 all weekend here in Termas.
We've got 4 or 5 riders here who are threatening provisional pole. 3 of them you'll follow the bottom of your screens. The Marquez brothers and Bezzecchi's got quick. Pedro Acosta was also going very well halfway around that. He's just at the back of the picture on the factory KTM. Acosta currently in 6th place. Into the final corner, there's this group of 4. Really Constantine is up. Bagnaia will lead them across the line. He might go on to the front row with this, but he won't be there for long. It's only 5th as Marc Marquez improves again to a 137.023. And it's his brother now who leads the checks.
Oh, stop teasing us, Mark, with this 36 flyer. A 37.1 his first flyer, now a 37 flat. Surely on that second run we are going to get the history-making 136. So at the end of a breathless first stint here in Q2 in Argentina, we have a Marquez 1-2 on the grid just as it was 2 weeks ago in Thailand. Joan Zarco, stunning, leading the Honda charge in 3rd place. Marco Bezzecchi, 2023 Termas winner. He's fourth fastest for the factory Aprilia team. Here we pick up Bez now, out of turn 4. Acosta at 5th, Morbidelli, who came out of Q1, of course, he's at 6 on the back of that second row, and Bagnaia at the moment 7th with Quattararo and Di Giannantonio. Divisional row 4, as it stands right now, early on, Binder, Rins and Mia. Take about Johan, absolutely phenomenal. What a performance, a 37.163. That's half a second quicker than anything he managed in a time attack yesterday. Clearly the fastest ever lap around Termas by a Honda rider. Wow, absolutely brilliant.
That's on the front row. You just have to go back to Marc Marquez back in 2023 for that. That would be some result for John Zarco, and entirely in line with what he's done so far in this Grand Prix weekend. He's got a decent buffer actually behind him, at 0.3 of a second, back to Bezzecchi in 4th place against the rider who's underperformed on that first run. Would be Pecco Bagnaia in 7th place, as he had Fabio Quattararo all over him, which was occupying his mind, but it is super close. 4th place Marco Bezzecchi, all the way down to Bagnaia in 7th. They're all on 1:37.5s.
So it's going very much to the Burram form, isn't it, right now? Marquez from Marquez as they filter back into pit lane. 1:37.023, that's the time to chase. Fabio Di Giannantonio all on his lonesome. That finds a 1:37.574. That fires him up to 6th place. That's not his teammate Morbidelli back onto row 3 as it stands right now. Di Giannantonio's first attack though, not quite on par with his brilliant last lap yesterday in practice, when he delivered a showstopper 1:37.430. Getting close to it though, you have to say.
Calmness now of Marc Marquez, having blitzed that all-time lap record a couple of moments ago, but he certainly knows that his brother is going to keep him more than honest in the next 7.5 minutes, just a 10th and a half between Marc Marquez and Alex Marquez. And backing up what Alex said yesterday, where he certainly felt he was half a step closer to his brother here, and so far Alex Marquez is very much in touch of denying his brother pole position, but he surely is going to have to find that first ever 1:36 to do it.
Yeah, Pecco Bagnaia needs a real strong finish to this Q2 session. 2 very important hot laps coming in for the Ducati Lenovo team rider, because he's down in 8th place. He is the 5th away Ducati involved in this session. Certainly he's going to be looking for a big improvement at 1:37.589. He's going to have to find 3 tenths just to get himself on the front row as it stands right now. He's certainly capable of it. We know certainly what Bagnaia is capable of. He's delivered some great qualifying performances, particularly when he's been right under the gun, when he has been under the pump. But certainly he's under the cosh right now as well, because 8th fastest middle on row 3. You can't give Marc Marquez, Alex Marquez and Coral form any kind of advantage, but if he's that far back on the grid, wow, I feel like it's just a damage limitation weekend.
Once again, Fabio Quattararo there is going to be keeping a very close eye on the 63. Pedro Acosta has been able to slot himself in between them at this stage, and of course anyone who's behind Pecco Bagnaia at this stage knows that the 2-time MotoGP world champion is going to have no option but to take his brain out here and go all out. He cannot, as you say, afford to start on the middle of that 3rd row of the grid. Of course he could get through to the podium from there, but he cannot afford to give his teammate in the form he is in a 2-row head start.
Yeah, this we know this Termas layout with the fast left-handers through 6 and 11 is very hard on the left-hand side of that road time. You've already got to overwork it at the engine to get your way through some traffic early on. You're going to have to be really careful later on. Marc Marquez then heads out on the circuit with an advantage of nearly a 10th and a half clear of his younger sibling Alex Marquez. They are in positions 1 and 2 on the grid as it stands right now for the 12-lap sprint this afternoon, 25-lap full Grand Prix tomorrow. As Marc Marquez ventures down, you know he's only got one thing on his mind, and it's that first ever 1:36 lap around Termas de Río Hondo. He's delivered so many great performances down the years here in Argentina. I think we've seen the best and worst of Marc Marquez, haven't we, here in Termas on some of our previous visits, but at the moment we're seeing nothing but the very best of the 93. Marco Bezzecchi, one of the hardest players attacking on the Aprilia, moving left and right on the brakes as he flung it onto his right hand side through turn 1. The head choking already came out on the gas out of 2. Certainly pushing hard, isn't he, Bezzecchi? On the exit now of 2, flick it hard right through 3, then just build build speed down the back straight. 4th place in the stands right now for the Italian.
It's a time attack mode where Marco Bezzecchi still thinks he has a little bit of margin to improve, although given that he's currently in 4th place, he's doing a pretty good job as it is at the moment. The other rider worth keeping an eye on at the moment out on track is Twan Mir, who of course only has the one tyre available to him, having come through qualifying 1. Mir is currently on a very competitive lap halfway around, which might well get him in amongst that group of riders at the moment who are all on 1:37.5. So Bezzecchi in 4th, all the way down to Bagnaia in 8th.
Bezzecchi has just set his personal best in the second sector of this session. Bagnaia and Acosta are flying. And they have just nailed really strong first sectors. Not much between those two as Bezzecchi, just see how hard he really is bringing the neck of this Aprilia, isn't he? Around Termas right now. Big moment there as he flips it left through turn 9, and there's a big head shake over the bumps through turn 11. Mir moves up to 11th spot then, 1:37.905 from the Spaniard.
Big lap coming in here from Pecco Bagnaia. He's found more time in the second sector. Is this the moment where the two-time world champion finds his response? I mean, under siege from his teammate Marc Marquez, not just through the 2 Grand Prix weekends we've had so far, but through entire pre-season testing. He's been playing catch-up, it feels, from the first wheel he turned in Japan in February. Bagnaia threatening, potentially moving up and joining his teammate on the front row of the grid.
He has sometimes delivered big performances when it's backs against the wall, and he's doing it here again. Bagnaia with Acosta for company. Into turn 13 we go. This is surely putting Bagnaia onto the front row of the grid. Is it P1? Is it a 1:36 from the number 63 over the line? 4th place. Lost a bit of time in that 4th sector. Up to 4th then goes Pecco. 1:37.268. He dragged Acosta around to a 1:37.274. Acosta about a quarter of a second away from Marc Marquez.
Neither of the Marquez brothers are on the back to the moment. Alex Marquez is quite well off half second, as you can see. Marc Marquez has been backed out of it in the second sector. Alex rings their crawling all over the back of Alex Marquez. He's rings by himself up onto the 3rd row here with this one. He misses out and has to slot into 10th place, a 10th of a second behind his teammate.
Johan Zarco still on the front row for LTR Honda. What a ride that would be. Absolutely sensational. Pick up Morbidelli, fastest in Q1. He powers out of the final corner. Up a couple of spots from 8th to 6th, so 1:37.382, which is pretty much on par with the time that got him into this Q2 section. Mir's improved 3rd on the Honda, up to 9th at a 1:37.596.
Bagnaia's lap has gone away, so unless he's going to find something on the 3rd lap of that time, Bagnaia will not be on the front row of the grid. He sits 4th at the moment. Acosta's still pushing on, so too is Fabio Quartararo, right on board with the 2021 MotoGP World Champion now as he heads towards turn number 9. Quartararo currently sits 10th. An improvement of a 10th of a second could lift him up a row on the grid.
Bezzecchi, I think he's all out of it, so that's session over for him. Best the 2023 Argentina Grand Prix we can hope for is 7th place. Something's happened to Acosta as well. Big moment there on the bumps for Fabio Quartararo through 11th. Alex Marquez head down rapid in sector 2. Fabio Quartararo also looking good. Thank you, Morbidelli's had a superb second split as well. That was something for Morbidelli on the front row from Q1. Over the line we go. Quartararo onto a superb 6th place. Top job by the factory Yamaha rider. 1:37.347.
4 riders are all up at the halfway point. Morbidelli, both of the Marquez brothers, and Fabio Di Giannantonio right on board with Alex Marquez. He needs to find surely a 1:36 if he's going to take pole from his brother. He crosses the line and misses out a 1:37.195, but plenty going quickly behind him.
Yeah, Marc Marquez included, who has just absolutely a stonking 3rd sector. Over a 10th he is up. Is this the 1:36 we've been waiting for from the 93? Morbidelli over the line. No improvement from Frank, he stays in 7th place. On board then with Marquez. Through the final corner he will go now. He flicks it left. Are we about to witness the fastest ever lap of Termas de Río Hondo? We certainly are. Right on cue. Bang. Thank you very much, Marc Marquez. A 1:36.917. Look at the reception, the response he's got inside the factory Ducati garage. Well, he said a 36 was on the table and he delivered it.
Quarter of a second clear of his younger brother, who will start alongside him on the front row of the grid. Second flag is now out. Bagnaia will not improve. He's going slowly out there on circuit, so Bagnaia will start on the 2nd row of the grid. 4th at best for him. Marquez is still pushing on, but surely no one's going to touch that 1:36.9.
In a quarter of a second clear, still pushing on here as well, hard on the brakes into turn 5. You feel like there's even more time out there, 1:36.917. We said Marco Bezzecchi had rolled out of it, it's got worse for him, he was 7th at that time, he's been pushed back down to 9th now. So Bezzecchi will be at the head of the third row, back of the third row rather. Yeah, I think Marquez is just taking too much out of that rear time on that 36.917. He won't care one jot though, because he's got the history making that time he wanted. He's got another pole position in the books as well. We have just witnessed another special lap from Marc Marquez here in Argentina. That's his pole position, number 96, 68th in the MotoGP World Championship. Fabio Di Giannantonio, maybe a couple of places late on for him. And of course, we've mentioned Marc Marquez's utter brilliance, but at the moment, Johann Zarco is still on the front row of the grid, which is a phenomenal, absolutely sensational performance. And that looks like where Zarco will remain. Checkered flag is out for everybody. Di Giannantonio takes 6th place. It's the Marquez show once again though here in Termas de Río Hondo qualifying. Marc Marquez takes it with a new all-time lap record. The first ever 1:36 lap around Termas de Río Hondo. Just as he was a couple of weeks ago, Alex Marquez takes 2nd place. Back-to-back poles for Marc Marquez for the first time in 6 years, going all the way back to the Austrian and British Grand Prix. Superb by Marc Marquez, and absolutely wonderful performance as well by Johann Zarco. A Honda, after all their recent troubles, all their recent woes, a Honda on the front row of the grid here in Argentina.
The best qualifying for Honda since Marc Marquez at Mugello in 2023. That puts you into some sort of context as to what Johann Zarco has done today. A special performance from the Frenchman. He's on the front row, and his team manager Richard checking out with Jack.
Yeah, he was with me, but he's just giving everyone in the box a hug, and he actually feeling the stands. Richard, what a performance from Johann. You mentioned the word podium yesterday. He mentioned the word podium yesterday. You're now on the front row. You can begin to dream.
Yes. Honestly, did an amazing job. All the team did an amazing job. All the Chelsea deserve, some light out of the tunnel, and we are very pleased to be able to make it happen. Yeah. Hopefully, this is a very good sign, and let's see. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jack. Thanks to LTO Honda boss Lucio Cecchinello. Brilliant performance there by Johann Zarco. Compilation, we told you, best qualifying performance by Honda riders since Marc Marquez at the Italian Grand Prix 2023. These have been some of the darkest and toughest times for HRC in recent years. Of course, losing their superstar talent, Marc Marquez, the RC213V has been blown away by the improving, or the dominant Ducati, the improving European manufacturers like Aprilia and KTM. But Johann Zarco, as Luca Ciccone just mentioned, there is more than a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. As Pecco Bagnaia looks up at these timing screens inside the factory Ducati garage, and he will not like what he sees.